If you guys want to be in with a chance of winning a copy of FIFA 20 on either console of your choice, all you need to do is leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Best of luck and enjoy the video. Hey guys, Ethan here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be answering your questions about FIFA 20. As many of you will know, I've been playing the beta over the past week or so. Recently, EA opened up the entire game, including Volta and career mode, so I've had a chance to try out a lot of the new game, and I asked you guys to send me questions over on Twitter about anything to do with FIFA 20, whether it be gameplay related, Ultimate Team related, whatever you wanted, and you've sent in a few questions, and that's what I'm going to be answering in today's video. So if you guys have enjoyed, leave a like if you do, subscribe if you're new around here, and without further ado, let's go on into it. So I've got Twitter open on my phone, and this is where I've got all of the questions you guys have been sending in, and the first one comes from Max Robertson, and he asks, is the game more realistic in terms of game speed, less stupid bounces, more real physics, etc, etc? And I've got to say it is. The game feels a lot better. It's slower, which is more realistic. It's less kind of arcadey. It's still very smooth, and I wouldn't say fast paced because it is a lot slower, but when you're pinging the ball about, it feels a lot more responsive, a lot smoother, a lot crisper, and just generally a lot better. I actually played a few games of FIFA 19 today against one of my friends, and the game just felt so clunky and sluggish in comparison to FIFA 20. And when you say less stupid bounces, more real physics, again, that's something you see completely in FIFA 20, especially compared to FIFA 19. Defending has been revamped massively, so when you make a tackle, you tend to win the ball back more often than not. It's not like on FIFA 19 where you get tackles going in all over the place and the ball just bounces straight back to your opponent. And also the ball physics are a lot more realistic. With the tackling, you tend to retain possession more often. But also with shooting, you've got a lot of new animations when it comes to shooting. So those look better and more realistic. And the actual physics of the ball, the movement of the ball, you've got new free kicks where you can apply all sorts of different spin and curve. You can do knuckleballs. So generally I would say it is more realistic. The gameplay is a lot slower, and that suits a more kind of realistic style of play. It also suits slower, stronger players, and it means you can use people like Toni Kroos, and they're effective for the first time in a very long time. The next question comes in from Maddie's Nocky, and he/she says, are timed finesse shots still game-breakingly OP, especially from outside the box? And I wouldn't say so. I don't think there's a specific shooting mechanic that is more overpowered than another. It all depends where you are in correlation to the keeper and the goal, the angle, the distance, all of that. Finesse shots are quite effective, driven finishes are quite effective, power shots are effective. It all depends where you are. So obviously if you're coming in like on the left hand side with the right foot to play, you want to curve it past the keeper into that far corner, a finesse shot in that case will be effective. If you're really close to the keeper and you don't really have time to open up an angle, a driven finish is going to be effective. You guys get the idea. I wouldn't say any shot in particular is especially overpowered more so than another, especially not to the extent that we've had, especially in the early stages of FIFA 19 with finesse shots and timed finesse shots. I haven't really played about too much with timed finishing. I did a little bit, but it didn't really seem to make my shots that more accurate when they were timed green, and more often than not I wasn't timing them properly and they were going way off. So I wouldn't say timed finesse shots are OP. Finesse shots are quite effective from outside the box, I've found, but not to the extent they were on FIFA 19. And it's the same like with driven finishes. I find them to be effective in certain areas, but again, I wouldn't really say that they're overpowered. The next question is a very short and simple one, but a good one, and one I'm sure you guys will be interested in. It's from Maths, and he says, is it good? So obviously very simple. Is FIFA 20 good? I've got to say it is. I love the gameplay, especially compared to FIFA 19. It was a huge stark contrast. When I went and played FIFA 19 today, having played FIFA 20 for about a week or so, the game felt awful in comparison to FIFA 20. And it's not just me saying this. If you look on Twitter, the majority of people that have tried the beta out have said they really enjoyed the gameplay. It is a lot more realistic, it's a lot more responsive, it's smoother, it's crisper. They've ironed out a lot of the issues that we had in FIFA 19. There aren't any glaringly obvious overpowered meta mechanics like El Tornado crossing, finesse shots with your back to goal, things like that. When you defend, it's a lot more rewarding. The ball actually gets back to you. You don't just tackle someone, the ball bounces straight through and puts them through on goal. It's a lot more rewarding defensively. It requires more skill in your build-up play. You can't just do a few ping-pong passes and a through ball and split the defence. You have to really kind of build your play up slowly from the back, lots of intricate passing, and it's just a lot more rewarding in general. Goalkeepers are also a lot more effective, so I tend to find games are lower scoring. It's normally like 2-1, 1-1. Had a few 0-0s here and there as well. So each goal you score, it's rewarding, and finishing as well is a little bit harder, I find. You need to use the right shot in the right scenario to actually score. So all around, the gameplay, which I think is the most important thing, has been really improved. The menus in Ultimate Team have been improved. There's a few new additions to Ultimate Team that I'm sure you guys will like. Too many to list really. Same just with the game in general. I've played career mode, a few improvements here and there. A few new cutscenes and things, the interviews improves it. I've been playing Volta as well, and that's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure something you guys will really enjoy playing. There's so many different game modes within that as well, but I've just been playing the story, and it has been really, really fun. So all in all, I've got to say FIFA 20 is good. Thumbs up from me, and it's still at early stages obviously, but EA have implemented a patch into the beta, and that improved the gameplay. A lot of people who are really negative, I'd say, towards FIFA, someone like Kurt, for example, he initially didn't like the beta. After the latest patch, he said he was really enjoying the gameplay, and it's been the same with a lot of people. And EA have worked well on the beta. There's kind of a survey you fill in after every game that asks you about different aspects of the game, and you rank it, and that helps obviously give feedback. They recently gave everyone like the best team on the game as well, basically just a full team of the year squad to try out what the game feels like with higher end players, because obviously it's a little bit different to those cheaper kind of starter players that most people were using. So all in all, I've got to say it's looking good for the full release. Hopefully they don't tweak the gameplay too much, and it should be just fine. James MCFC says, can you tell the difference between 19 and 20? I think I've outlined this very, very clearly. Yes, it is. You really can feel the difference, and having played the two games today, I've probably played about 5 games of each, you really can tell the difference. The main things, as I've said, the gameplay is slower, but it's smoother, it's crisper, it's a lot more responsive, it's more rewarding both defensively and going forwards, and that's just in terms of gameplay. And when it comes to the whole package, with all the little tweaks and improvements they've added to the menus and the new game modes, you really can feel the difference. And someone actually replied to this saying that you can't, but I'm not sure what game they've been playing, because me and a huge amount of people that have been playing the beta, feedback has been very, very good. You really can feel the difference. It is a much, much better game all round. Finn Smith asks if SBCs are any good. Now, given it's the beta, we just have the very basic starter SBCs. There's not been regular content released at 6 PM like we typically have on the full release of the game. So it's just the basic starters, the bronze, silver and gold upgrade, the 3 advanced SBCs that we have at the beginning of any new FIFA, and then the basic starter SBCs where you have to trade in a few bronzes to unlock the rest of the SBCs. So no league SBCs, no icon SBCs, nothing like that. They will of course come with a full game. We may have more advanced SBCs along the way as well, but with the beta, that's all you've got. However, there are a few little tweaks and improvements on the menus for SBCs. It makes it a lot easier to get players into your squad. Just by pressing RB, it takes you to the transfer market. You can go to your club as well by pressing LB. Players are organised just in terms of rating, not in terms of rarity, which is quite good. If you want to just go all the way down to the bottom and get your complete lowest rated cards without having to filter all the way up to then get your lowest rated rares, for example. If you need a certain number of rares, makes it easier to get to them. And also, if you've got a player that's in your main squad and you submit them in an SBC, it pops up giving you a warning saying you're using someone that's in your squad. So that's good in case you might accidentally trade in a player you're using. So there's a few little tweaks there. It makes it just generally easier, I'd say, to fill out SBCs. But yeah, there aren't really any new ones to comment on, but I'm sure with the full game we'll have plenty of others. The next question actually comes from my friend Aiden on Facebook, and we were talking about FIFA 20 and the gameplay, and I said that stronger, more physical players, someone like Diego Costa for example, tend to be quite effective. And he said that's good, he likes the sound of it, but he was wondering if players like PK would be able to catch up with someone like Mbappe in game, because in previous FIFAs that has been a little bit of an issue. Sometimes you've used really quick players and they've just been outpaced by someone with considerably less pace than them in game, and I'd say that isn't really the case, although pace is less important and you can still very much use a slower player. Typically you'll find that you will be able to beat a slower player if you have someone with more pace. But let's say you've got Harry Maguire up against Mbappe and they go into a physical battle. Maguire's going to come out more often than not. Those big physical players, someone like PK for example, someone like Godin, someone who's strong and good at defending, will batter someone who's weak. if it's a physical battle, they're strong, they're going to get in there and get the ball back, and if they've got good defending, they're going to do that well. However, players like that often tend to lack when it comes to agility and balance, and that means if you use someone like Mbappe and do a skill effectively, you can skin that person and get way out of the way of that defender, and that's where you use your pace. So I tend to find that players defensively that have good agility and balance as well as good strength are good. So someone like Koulibaly, for example, or Manolas, players that are fairly quick and have that physical presence, the physicality, the height, and also agility and balance are really good. Your big clunky defenders are very good physically and very good in the air, but up against someone like Messi, for example, someone that's really good at dribbling, they can get turned inside out, because dribbling and agility and balance is a very key stat this year. I'd say more so than pace. If you've got someone that's really good on the ball, Messi I've been using a lot, and he's so good, and it's probably the first FIFA, at least for a very long time, where Messi has felt as good. Not quite as good as he is in real life, because he's insane in real life, but he's felt almost to the level of which he is in real life. So players with good agility and balance who are good on the ball, if you're good at dribbling, using the new strafe dribbling mechanic where you hold LB and have a lot of control, is very effective. So that's something to bear in mind. To answer the question, I already have really. Those slower players won't tend to catch up with your fast players that much when it comes to pace, but physically they really can show their presence and get people off the ball. But if they lack the agility and balance, they're very easy to beat. So it's kind of like a win-lose situation. You want to have players that are quite strong and can beat players physically, but you also don't really want to have someone that's massive and will easily get dribble past. So a balance of that when it comes to defenders, people like Manolas, for example, are really good. Jacoba asks if Ultimate Team gameplay feels different to Kickoff, and I'd say it does, and that always seems to be the case on FIFA, just because Ultimate Team is online, so you're playing against other people on a metered connection, whereas if you're playing on Kickoff, you're either playing the AI or you're playing someone else on the same console, so you don't have any issues with connection. So the game's a lot smoother and faster paced, I'd say. But that always seems to be the case, and they can't really do anything to solve that, just because it is naturally going to have less lag and it's just going to be smoother, more responsive when you're not playing over a connection. Maddie's Noki comes in with another question, this time asking if there are any online tournaments. There aren't, however on Ultimate Team there are some really fun new game modes, and they're friendlies, they don't count towards your record, and it doesn't affect contracts or fitness or anything, but they're really fun, and I had a lot of fun playing them. There's a load of them. I haven't even unlocked all of them yet. There are about 5 or 6 in total. You've got Mystery Ball, for example, where every time the ball goes out of play, it swaps to a new kind of juiced up superpower that your teams both get. So it's kind of like playing full-on sliders with certain attributes. So you've got passing, where basically all your players' passes are perfectly accurate. Pace, where they have about 200 pace. I think it's probably about that, maybe even more. It's really pushed up with the sliders, so every player on the pitch is just insanely fast. You've got the same with dribbling, and it gives every player on the pitch 5-star skills. It's the same for both you and your opponent. And you've got shooting as well, where literally shots from everywhere on the pitch have insane shot power and go in. So it's not like having 99 shooting, it's literally like having about 200 or 250 shooting. It's so powerful. So it is like playing on full-on sliders. That's Mystery Ball. You've got Max Chemistry, where every player on your team gets full chemistry regardless of what position they're in, what links they have. So that's quite fun to try out random players. You've got swaps, where you swap players with your opponent. I think you swap like 2 or 3 players, and it changes every now and again the players you have. There are a few different game modes. There's King of the Hill as well. There's no rules. There's all the kind of house rules ones that we have in Kickoff, plus some more, but it's really fun, and it doesn't affect your record or anything, so it's good to just try out the game. And it's more of kind of a, I wouldn't say like a try-hard game, just one where you can have fun, and it caters more to the casual player. And they're ones that I really enjoy playing, and I'm sure you will as well. It's good just to have fun, given it doesn't count towards your record or anything. If you just want to warm up or something, it's good for that. So there we go, that's a decent amount of questions. If you guys have any more, let me know down below, and I can definitely do a part 2 to this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. If you've played FIFA 20, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.